Hey everybody. So I did a video yesterday that was rather lengthy that kind of went into the features and the refinements of the M7 and the MOA system over the years. So the music was playing kind of loud yesterday, and so I guess some of it got missed. Guys, I work alone in a small town almost in the middle of nowhere in a knife shop by myself all day, 5 to 6 days a week. Sometimes you lose track of reality. So anyway, got the music turned down. Uh, but wanted to go over just a couple of brief things real quick just to make sure that it got hammered home. Now I just got a leather thong in here because I'm going to put this on here in a minute and show you what I mean. But one of the questions the guys had is why, because one of the things I like the most about the MOA system and my sheath stuff from the beginning was a shock cord that held the retention strap on. But to be fair, if you are not used to doing that, it requires holding this and pulling this around and putting it over a Sam Brown stud, all while a piece of shock cord is pulling this leather out of your hand. So it can get a little complicated and tricky, and I get that. I do. I had a lot of practice with it because, it was my little baby, and I worked on it and did everything else with it. So, and especially whenever the leather was new and the shock cord was new and so forth. So anyway, by popular demand over the years, I've just kind of gone back to a regular snap strap. That's what most guys want, and so that's what we do now. However, you have to be aware that with a snap strap like this, I don't like straps that go across the front of the sheath. Number one, it's not possible with the MOA system. And two, it can get a little more tricky to replace it if it gets cut, which it almost sooner or later, almost invariably will if you use the knife that much. So anyway, just a brief, refresher here going over this. We take the M7 here, and these knives, for a quick note to people that don't follow my stuff or whatever else, these saw teeth are functional. I've got a ton of videos on the Instagram and the YouTube channel about how these knives will sit here and saw through 2x4s in like 22, 24 seconds when they're in a vise. I mean, you're not going to sit here and do this in the woods and like be processing, a cord of wood. That's not going to happen. I think we all know that. But if you want a survival tool, this does give you another tool in the toolbox to make notches. It makes great tinder dust, man. You sit here and you saw especially a dead piece of wood, and you've got great tinder dust very quickly. So, it's one more tool. Plus, they look cool, right? I mean, you got a knife with saw teeth on there. It looks cooler than a knife without saw teeth. I understand that. I'm into this too. If I didn't like this stuff, I wouldn't be making it for a living, right? I mean, I get it. So, anyhow, briefly, again, to do this, what you want to do, because the saw teeth are going to chew up this side, whatever side the saw teeth are on, that strap's going to get chewed up regardless. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to get cut or whatever else, but even whenever I had the shock cord only was attached to this strap right here. So the part with the male snap on there, on whatever side the saw teeth were, that always got a little chewed up. And I never had one get cut all the way through that I'm aware of. But that's also why I stopped stitching them in place, so that when the time comes and they got to be replaced, you can just work this thing out of the slot. I can either just make you a new one and mail it out, or you can make one, or whatever it is you want to do. But that has been my quest over the last couple of years, is to make this whole system as modular as possible. Because, man, these things in the beginning, everything was stitched and locked down. I mean, these things are a behemoth, man, or a bear to work with and to build. And also, if one thing gets tore up on there, you got to break the whole sheath down. And I hand stitch these, even though I could machine stitch them. I hand stitch them because hand stitches just do not unravel. If you got something that's hand stitched and you want to pull it apart, you are going to be pulling each individual stitch out one at a time. It is a real pain in the neck. So I could save myself a lot of time and make more money if I machine stitch these. And who knows, at some point, if I just got to keep up in production, I may have to go that route. But for now, I'm committed to hand stitching these because it just gives a better, attachment. So anyways, that's why we came up with a bolt system or implemented the bolt system. I know I didn't invent that. We have this here so we can go on and off the belt easy and so forth. So let's get right into when you draw this, it's really simple. I'm going to put it on my belt here in just a second. We'll cut to that so you don't got to watch me putting it on my belt and all that kind of stuff. So it's real simple. The main one you want to worry about is the side that has the edge on there. I sit here, once I get the blade in about this far, you can see it kind of goes out. I just stick my hand down, push both of them open, and you go right in. Once you practice it a few times, it's really no big deal. It's very simple to do. Same thing when drawing it. You can either push with your middle finger or whatever you want on this side here and push off, or I just take and push both sides open like that and then come right out, and it's no problem. You can see on the edge side there's no cutting going on. Sooner or later you're going to nick it because you don't always have time to do that, but again, that's the point of making this replaceable and removable. Time to go back in there. Boom, goes right in. So let me go ahead and cut to putting this on my belt and you can see. Okay, we're all hooked up on the belt here. This is a little, odd because this is not how I would normally wear it. These are the cup of pants and belt and all that, but this is going to give you an idea. Hang on 1 second, I apologize. Okay, so the way this works is real simple. We got the whole unit here, and again, this is replaced for those that are just tuning in. This green lanyard is just on here temporarily so that I can get this PSK knife in and out while I'm making the sheath and fitting everything for the final touches and all that. Usually it has shock cord that goes around this flap and it locks it in so that it's just not going to come out. So to get this guy out, number one, let's illustrate the whole, so I don't fall here. This is what I was trying to say earlier. When you tie it down to your leg properly and you have this drop leg attachment, it's going to allow the knife to swivel. So whenever you kneel down, the butt cap isn't poking you in the ribs, which is an unpleasant experience, let me tell you. So anyhow, that gives you some options, plus it makes it easy to get on and off. Pop that right on your belt. So when you're ready, push that open, and then you just, all you gotta do is push like that with your index finger, and you come right up. And if we look, no cut. Same kind of thing, when you put it back in there, just push it down, it snaps and drops right into place. So, pull it up. There it goes. This is not the kind of knife that you're going to draw 40 or 50 times a day, and certainly not the PSK knife either. This is a wilderness knife, so it's not like it's a, EDC knife or a pocket knife that's going to come in and go out all the time. So, if you ever do have to draw it in an emergency or in a hurry, who cares if you cut the strap? But that's how it works, and that's how I do it, and that's what's done it for me. So now you know what I know, and you've seen how it works. If you got any questions or comments, let me know. And hopefully this video is a little shorter. I tend to ramble on because, man, I get so many emails with questions that, I just can't sit here and answer them all over and over and over again. So I try and make these videos as comprehensive as possible. And I'm sure that's boring to some, but that's, to me, the most efficient way to get the information out, because then I can just point somebody to a video or whatever else. So if you're wondering why, that's it. But, yeah. There we go. Ready to finish this guy up, hopefully tomorrow. I'm waiting on a piece of equipment that I need to finish this all up with the gun coat and everything. So, all right, have a good one. Appreciate the support.